Hello, everyone. I'm Eileen Chan. I'm the acting director of the Department of Energy's SBIR, STTR programs, and this is a quick 20-minute overview of the programs. I will help you gain a little bit of knowledge and hopefully point you in the right direction to find out more about our programs. Just a quick note about the federal SBIR STTR programs. It is in excess of $4 billion in early stage non-dilutive research and development fund that is specifically for small businesses. Now it is non-dilutive, which means that we don't take a piece of your company, we don't take your intellectual property. It is also a grant or a contract. You don't have to pay it back. It's a very good mechanism to fund early stage, high risk research and development. SBIR and STTR funds ideas that are too high risk for the private sector. So early stage, it's a good place for the government to operate, allow small businesses to keep the technology that they've developed, and with the goal of turning those products into commercial successes. So you should know a little bit about SBIR and STTR. SBIR has some program goals that involve some of the things that I spoke about before, using small business to stimulate technological innovation. At the same time, meet the agency's research and development needs and meet the agency's missions as well. One of the goals is to increase the private sector commercialization of innovations derived from federal research and development funding as well. The goal of the program is not fundamental R&D. It is to take your technology development work and take your products to the commercial marketplace. STTR is a little bit different, very similar, but it does require the participation of a nonprofit research institution. And the original intention was for it to foster technology transfer, maybe from a federal lab or from a university, and spin that out to a private company. But it doesn't, the nature of the technology does not have to reside with the research institution. It could be the case where you would want to use the research institution to conduct some of your R&D. Just want to point out that there are 11 agencies that offer SBIR grants and contracts. The top 6 are the largest agencies, with Department of Energy being the 3rd largest agency. And these top 6 programs have SBIR and STTR programs. And then at the bottom are the 5 of the smaller agencies that have only SBIR programs. There's a lot of overlap between what the different agencies fund. You should get to know some of the other agencies and pick a couple that might be interested in your technology development work. For example, in the energy area, the USDA is interested in energy efficiency technologies for the agricultural sector, and NSF will fund anything that is innovative and early stage. They don't have a particular technology or a technology area lane that they're interested in. So in terms of our program, we give awards in excess of $250 million a year. We give about 500 awards per year. Our awards are grants, not contracts, and that's important because we give you a grant to execute your R&D. We are not expecting you to deliver a product at the end of your award, and we are not very unlikely to be your customer at the end of the day. You are expected to pivot to the commercial marketplace or the private sector for your customers. There are some agencies such as Department of Defense, and they issue contracts, and they may be your customer. They may be the customer for your technology. Our topics are aligned with the DOE mission, which is threefold, as shown on the slide. Our topics are more wide-ranging than people would expect, so don't think you understand what DOE funds until you've taken a look at our topics documents. Very importantly, mark your calendars. Our topics come out in July and they come out in November. Applications are due 3 months approximately after the topics come out. So you want to go to our funding opportunities page on those months and look at our topics and see if there's anything in there for you. Note, importantly, one of the unique things about our program is that a letter of intent is required roughly 6 to 8 weeks prior to submitting your application. You can not submit your application unless you have submitted a letter of intent. Should know a little bit about the differences between SBIR and STTR. I touched on them before. While SBIR allows you to have a nonprofit research institution partner as a subcontractor to your award, STTR requires it. Another important difference is while the principal investigator must be primarily employed by the small business for SBIR, for STTR, the PI can be either an employee of the small business or the nonprofit research institution. There are different level of effort requirements. Please make sure you use our workbook online to check your compliance. Note that the award always goes to the small business and the research institution is a subcontractor to the small business. And note they are two different pots of funding. So there is a sweet spot where you fulfill requirements of both of those programs. And if your topic is accepting applications to both SBIR and STTR, and you fulfill both the requirements of both programs, we do recommend that you submit your same application to both programs. This shows how our funding works. The entry program to the program is the phase 1 application, which is a proof of feasibility study that is executed over a period of 6 to 12 months. The grant size is between 200 or is a maximum of 200 or 250,000. It's topic dependent. And we issue about 350 to 400 awards per year. People always ask, what is the success rate? The success rate of the phase 1 applications is roughly 17 to 18%. If you become a phase 1 awardee, then about 9.5 months into your phase 1 award, you're going to want to submit your phase 2 application. Now, if you have proved feasibility and that your phase 1 study has gone well, your phase 2 application would be really focused on prototyping, demonstrating your technology, and pivoting towards your commercialization strategies. The phase 2 award is 1.1 to 1.6 million as a maximum. We give about 150 of those awards per year. We also offer second phase 2 awards and third phase 2 awards. If you can show that you require additional R&D to be sort of ready for that commercial marketplace, because of course the SBIR awards go away eventually over time, and we do want to maximize your probability of success for achieving commercialization success. So you can receive up to 7 years of awards in order to develop your technology. Just make sure, I won't go through this, but there are very important eligibility requirements associated with the ownership and the for-profit U.S. business that is applying for the grant. Make sure you review this information and that you comply. As I mentioned before, we have 2 releases a year. In July, these 6 DOE program offices issue topics and accept applications associated with those topics. Check our funding opportunities page in July, early July, pull up the topics, see if there's something in there for you. We call these sort of our deep science offices. You can see by the names of them, they're interested in things like advanced computing, understanding energy, matter, plasma, materials, understanding the atmosphere, the ocean, the Earth's crust, advancement of fusion energy, and also understanding nuclear physics and high energy physics as well. There's a lot of instrumentation and other types of instrumentation, monitoring systems, etc., required or requested in this release. Release 2, the topics come out in November. Applications are due in February. We call these our applied offices. And you can see from the names of these offices the types of areas that they would cover. We do have topics in nuclear non-proliferation, energy efficiency and renewable energy, advancement of fission, nuclear energy, advancements in fossil energy, carbon management, improving the nation's electricity grid, as well as the cybersecurity of the nation's energy infrastructure. This just shows you a list of what the type of a wide variety of topics that we request during our 2 solicitations. This is our schedule for fiscal year 2026. Note that dates are subject to change, but topic dates are very important here. The topic webinars are held after the topics come out. You should plan to attend those webinars. The funding opportunity announcement webinars come out. The notice of funding opportunity announcement comes out a month after the topics come out, and that tells you how to apply to the program, all the rules of the program, and we have a webinar in which we speak about those topics as well. The letters of intent due date are shown here, and when full applications are due. So this is a very important page. Please review this page and visit it regularly. Here's just a slide that shows you the topics. This blue table is very important. It shows you the maximum amount that you can request by topic. It shows whether SBIR applications are accepted, and it shows whether STTR applications are accepted. So carefully read the topic. You're expected to be an expert in your technology area. This is shows some subtopic information. It also shows that there are contacts that are listed at the end of every subtopic. So you can reach out to these program managers and ask questions specific to what they are looking for. And make sure you are familiar with all of the references. Again, you are expected to be an expert in your technology area. I just want to give a shout out to our market research study pages to see if there's anything in there for you. You should visit the program office if you're going to apply to, let's say, the building technologies. You should visit their page and see what is new, what they're doing, what kind of conferences they're having, and learn about their mission. Please note that we have a phase 1 application guide that can help you prepare your first SBIR or STTR grant application. You can always email us with application questions, follow us on social media, and very importantly, subscribe to our mailing list. If you subscribe to our mailing list, you will be invited to the topics webinar that I was talking about. You will be invited to the funding opportunity webinars that I was talking about. You will also be invited to a series of Ask Us Anything webinars during the time the solicitation is open that will help walk you through the application process. And I do like to give a shout out to our partnering platform. I call it a dating site where innovators can find potential partners. Partners are important as you develop your technology. You want to have commercialization assistance partners. You may want to have manufacturing experts. You may want to meet subject matter experts. You may want to meet venture capital and potential customers. All of these are potential opportunities on the partnering platform. What makes you a good fit with our program? The number one most important basis for a competitive application is that you can be responsive to the topic and subtopic. So really understanding what they're asking for, what they're looking for, and why what you're proposing is a solution to the problem or the need is a critical part of your application. In addition, there's 3 overall merit review criteria. Number 1, it must be technology development and it must be novel. Number 2, that you have a solid work plan. Remember, the phase 1 application is a feasibility study. You have a solid work plan to prove feasibility. And your work plan, directly links to your feasibility objectives. And make sure your team is composed of the right expertise. Note that you can have subcontractors and consultants as part of your team. So if you don't have all the expertise required within your small business, you should reach out to the right consultant or the right subcontractor to round out your team. And finally, the impact. If your R&D, if your feasibility study is successful, what will be the impact of your technology in that area? And so you need to really clearly explain that as well. And these 3 review criteria are equally weighted for the phase 1 application. If you become a phase 1 awardee, there are some additional resources that will be available to you. Number 1 is technical and business assistance. During phase 1, you need to be working on your phase 2 commercialization plan, which is a detailed 15-page commercialization plan. During your phase 1 award, you can put an additional $6,500 in your budget for receiving services to plan your phase 2 commercialization plan. If you become a phase 2 awardee, you get $50,000, which you do need to put in your application and your budget to execute your phase 2 commercialization plan. Phase shift becomes available for both phase 1 and phase 2 awardees. It is formally known as Energy I-Core, but it is an intensive customer discovery process where you would be doing 30 interviews of potential customers to learn more about what they're looking for. So it's a very powerful program. And I do also want to mention that if you become an awardee, you are eligible for time on our NERSC scientific computing facility. Okay, so we are a granting program, but in preparing your grant, you need to make sure that you take advantage of our applicant resources. And I do want to highlight also, as an awardee, there are a number of resources around helping you achieve your commercialization success. So you will want to take advantage of those as well. There are other DOE resources here. There are other DOE programs. You should take this slide, click on these links and learn about these programs. And they are dependent on the stage of technology. So for example, the Lab Embedded Entrepreneurship Program is for early stage ideas, whereas the Technology Commercialization Fund is going to be for later stage ideas. So this slide contains a wealth of information about other programs suitable for entrepreneurs. And I want to say a few things about commercialization. Note that it is a statutory goal of the SBIR STTR programs, and it is a very important aspect of what you are doing as an entrepreneur. So don't save your commercialization strategy for late. It's never too early to begin to strategize on your market and your future customers. And in fact, your business success depends upon it. And these are the kinds of things for your phase one commercialization plan that you must include. Now, the phase one commercialization plan is not a really large part of the decision to make an award, but it is critical to your business that you start thinking about things like who is going to be your customer? Why would they purchase what you are making? What are they willing to pay for it? What are they using now? What is your competition doing? And how is it that you're going to carve out a market for yourself, given what the competition is producing? So these are all these really important aspects of your commercialization plan that you should think about earlier rather than later. Okay, here are some initial steps. You attend SBIR, STTR training events. You should go to visit sbir.gov and look at the resources that are available there. You can go to their awards page to see what agencies are a fit with your technology. Remember, I mentioned there are 11 agencies that offer SBIR programs. You could go to their site and you can throw in some search terms and see what the different agencies have funded in your area. Mark your calendars for our topics releases in July and November, and you can also look at our past topic documents to get a feel for what we've funded in the past. Our online application guide also has some tips for getting started and getting organized. So thank you for your time. Again, number one recommendation is get organized and start to investigate these resources. And you can always reach out to us with questions. Application questions should go to the SBIR STTR email address shown. And feel free to reach out to me with questions about our programs. And a final shout out to our outcomes and phase 3 success stories, which contain a wealth of case studies on successful startups. There's a lot of good nuggets of advice in those stories. So thank you for your time.